What can I do for you?
Hi, I need your assistance with the situation I'm facing.
What has happened?
I'm really scared. I recently was fired by my employer and I'm in a very difficult position and I don't know how to proceed.
Why were you fired?
I was on an accredited employer work visa and I'm from India. I'm a beauty therapist with 5 years of experience in my field. I joined this job a few months ago and after a series of harassment and bullying, I was fired a few weeks ago.
And you were fired because why?
So all this started with the behavior and the demands, and it was related to money. So when I was in India, a common friend introduced me to the employer that I was working for. I trusted the common friend. He told me that New Zealand has much better opportunities and much better jobs and a lifestyle that I would aspire for, and that's why he said he could introduce me to an employer who can give me a job. I believed him and I got in touch with the employer who asked me for $20,000 to $25,000 to get that job.
New Zealand, 25,000.
25,000 New Zealand dollars, yes.
Okay.
That money did not include the lawyer fee or the air expenses or anything of that sort.
Why did you pay it? Did you pay it?
I did pay it.
Why did you pay it?
I was lured into the idea of the better future, and it was shown to me as an investment, like securing a job. I can come here, I can earn money, and then I can pay the money that I took loan back. So like for this, I exhausted all my family's saving, and I had to take a loan in India.
And they fired you.
And they fired me. So this after this event, after paying money, they even tweaked my resume, they fabricated evidence and asked me to add things on my resume just to make sure that my experience matches the job description that they wanted to hire.
But how did you agree to this? I mean, what was it's big money. So how did you agree to this?
I think the main reason was my unfamiliarity with the immigration process, since I had a great level of confidence in that common friend and I talked to the employer who was also from India. I assumed that I am going in the right direction. This is an investment for my future.
Right. Okay.
Before coming, they also instructed me to delete any conversations or any proof of the money transfers. They warned me that Immigration New Zealand can even check my phone, and if I have any evidence of the money transfer, that could be very detrimental to my visa conditions.
Right. And you have that evidence.
I took screenshots. I deleted the chats. That's how much I believed them. But I took screenshots because it did not sound. It sounded very unusual.
Does it identify them?
No, it does. I have the proofs of the money transfer that I made. I have the proofs of chats. I have the call recordings where they are instructing me to delete the chats, and this was the proof I kept for my safeguard in case something bad happens.
So what is the situation now? Your employment has been terminated, correct?
It has been terminated. After I arrived in New Zealand, the first discrepancy that I noticed was the location was different on visa and where I was working. I asked them and they just brushed it off as a technical error. But after I started working, there was constant bullying and harassment. They expected me to pay them money back. They take the salary that I received. They asked me to take it out in cash and give them that money every week.
So how much were you receiving in your account?
In my account,
as salary.
As I was receiving the amount that was given on the pay slips, the accredited wage for 30 hours a week. But I was working for more hours. I wasn't getting paid for the amount of hours I was working. And even the money that I was getting, they expected me to take it out and give them back in cash so that there's no paper, there's no trail. Nobody can get it back to them.
And you did it?
I did.
So how are you affording to stay in New Zealand at the moment?
I had some savings, like I said, and though there's still some salary left with which I managed to meet my expenses.
The reduced salary.
The reduced salary.
But were you giving the whole thing back, or
No, just a part of it. They were not happy with the cash payments, and they asked me to take out a lump sum loan and pay them more money to keep my job.
Okay. So, what is it that you would like to happen now?
I would like to get the opportunity to continue my visa. My employment was unfairly terminated. I refused to pay them that lump sum money. They expected. Then when I made some friends, I started inquiring about my pay slips and pay me what is written obliged to the contract. They put me on a performance review plan. They expected they said they had to review my performance and I wasn't working as per their standards. After which I asked them for documents and official reasons why it's happening and what's the issue. They fired me with 1 week's notice.
Well, there is something you can do, but it will require you to put your story forward and lodge a complaint. Are you willing to do that?
I would like to take steps to ensure that the money and the future that I hoped for, I could work for that. What are the options that I have?
Well, just on Monday, there was announcement by government. You would have heard about the people in Auckland, for example, who are in a similar situation to you, and their accommodation. Did this employer provide you with accommodation?
No. I was living on my own. That's how I made some connections. That's how some of my friends that I made while living on my own, they introduced me and they referred me to Idesi Legal for the services because they thought you can, in this situation, an immigration lawyer can guide the best.
Okay, so basically the announcement that came out on Monday is quite promising, but before this kicks in, what we need to make sure we do on your behalf is lodge a complaint. So we will need to, whatever you've told me, we will have to put that in writing and lodge that complaint. Once that complaint has been lodged, we will get a document from them, which will then enable us to lodge this particular, another kind of visa, which is called the Migrant Exploitation Visa. Protection, it's actually the term is Migrant Exploitation Protection Visa. Now, the period where they were able to have that the contract with the 3 months, that's no longer needed now. But what this visa is going to do is it is going to, once you get it, there is the ability for the government to pay you some money. Okay, so that will help with the rent. And also it'll give you a little bit of pocket money to help you look for another job. And if you get another job, great, we can then do a variation in condition and apply for once you're on this one, you can apply for a new accredited employer work visa. If you don't get a job in that 6 months period of visa, you are able to apply for a second migrant exploitation protection visa. You will not have to lodge another complaint, but you will have to show that you've made reasonable efforts to find the job that would qualify you for accredited employer work visa. So the same job check, all that the employer will have to do. The amount you will roughly get, the support package that the government is currently offering is between $50 to $250, but that will depend on your personal circumstances. And because you're alone, you will not get $220. You'll get a lesser amount. So you're happy to do that?
Absolutely. I think because I thought after I was fired, I have no way I would get deported, or since my visa conditions are linked to my employment. But
No. There's been a huge outcry, and there's been a lot of this kind of cases coming out. Yours is an individual case, and there may be others out there with your kind of circumstances who are not part of a big group. They are alone, but they may be scared. So if you know anybody that is not feels that they can't voice what has happened to them, encourage them to come forward and go to any immigration lawyer or any advisor that could help them in this process. It's important that these kinds of behavior patterns get stopped so people don't get exploited.
Would it be an issue if I, for example, had my resume was tweaked to fit the job description?
Well, that will be issues that Immigration New Zealand will deal with when during your visa process. And because you've been exploited, it will be a matter that they most likely will not give very heavy weighting to. But that's a bridge we'll cross when we come to it.
Because I think a lot of people like me are scared to speak up against the bullying because they are worried. They have some
Well, that's understandable, right? But no, speak up, because you have to stand up, otherwise nobody else will protect you. You know, there are avenues available that the government has come up with, so utilize it. This is your chance, because all this is going to end in March 2024. So no use, if you're going through it, own up right now that this has happened, so that you can be put on the right path. Okay?
Thanks.
Thank you.